So a lot of time on the media, you're going to hear things about, different type of issues relating to gender and sex and this type of thing. With gay and lesbians and transgender, I think it's called, bisexuality and this sort of stuff. And a lot of times they'll use the word sex and gender, and most people don't really understand what those two things mean. Now I'm going to clarify that right now. Sex is like your animal body self. It's your, the physical characteristics that identify a man from a woman. Okay, straight physical, like genitals, hair on the arms, hips on a woman, breasts, this type of stuff. Gender is a very different thing. Gender is, let me see if I could, define it, but basically it's characteristics that define somebody, but that's basically on a mental level. So, in this case it'd be like feminine, gender, and there's like the masculine gender, and there's a whole range of combinations in between of like, of course in the middle you have this kind of androgynous, which is, it's like a combination of female and male, and what's interesting about all this stuff is you can have a physically, very, female woman that can have a very masculine personality. What is masculinity? Well, there's a lot of different things in masculinity. It's like, control, leadership, kind of, strong-willed, this type of stuff. Whereas in the feminine end of things, you have things like cooperation, nurturing, loving, things related to their nesting instinct, this type of stuff. Now, does that mean, a man can't be, very feminine? There's lots of guys that are very feminine in their nature. They're very yielding, and, and it might work for them, it might not work for them, but that's who they are. And of course, on the other end of, you have the women that might be masculine, or you might have a woman that's very, very ultra feminine. And whenever you have a woman that's very feminine and a man that's very masculine, or any kind of, the stronger the polarity is between two people, especially on an energetic level. Okay, so it doesn't matter if what the bodies are doing, but on an energetic and spiritual level, if the polarities are very far apart, so it's very masculine, very feminine, there's going to be a strong kind of attractive force between them. And of course, this gets into the whole area of dating and romance and all sorts of stuff in that arena and that area of study. And I think a lot of the time, and this is a controversial idea, but I think a lot of the time, the reason people are, you might have a physical, very physical, very physically masculine man, but might have like a feminine personality, is I think it comes from past lives. It comes from some kind of past process, and it's just basically trying to integrate into the body somehow, and it's having some kind of like a mishmash. That spirit might be better suited to a female body, but that's the situation that they're in, and they have to process it and figure out, what's the right thing for them to do in their life. But I think there's a lot of confusion in this area, and I hope that kind of clears things up. Even though some of you out there they're not really into the past life stuff, I think that helps kind of clarify some things. But you don't need to know all that stuff to really, or you don't have to be into all that stuff to really kind of understand what sex and gender is.